Hi, my name is Steve Snap. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Salesforce for Building Materials, where we're going to go deeper on this concept of what we call quote contacts. One of the problems we were trying to solve with quoting was giving you the ability to have all of your information associated with your quotes inside of Salesforce, inside of the project. Before we get started, I want to mention that we have 2 links in the video description you should know about. I'll mention these again at the end of the video if you'd like to keep watching, but I wanted you to know that we've included a link to our pricing video where we share the pricing for Salesforce construction, and we've also included a link to our guided free trial. The guided free trial will allow you to start using Salesforce construction immediately in your business while providing a step-by-step learning path. Now, I have an introduction video into quoting where I talk more about the problem that we were solving there. In this video, I wanted to talk specifically about the problem associated with taking a quote and managing the distribution of that quote, as well as the possible editing of that quote across multiple contacts. So the use case here is that in a lot of situations, you've got a quote for a project, and you want to be able to distribute that potentially to several different general contractors, maybe 1 or 2 different distributors. If you've got some manufacturer reps that you want to share this with, and they might mark it up. So you might have different audiences that you're sharing a quote with. And not only do you want the ability to manage who you're sending it to, but you may want the ability to modify within that particular quote that you're sending to, let's say, a distributor, to be able to modify the pricing or up charge it or down, discount it or whatever. So from the main screen here on the dashboard, I'm going to go ahead and just navigate over to our quote screen. And from the quote screen, I'm going to pull up a quote. Now, in the other video on quoting, I mentioned that quotes are always linked to projects. And again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here. I'll just say that projects are really the hub, and we hang things like quotes, project relationships, we hang that off of that concept of a project. So the first thing you'll notice when you look at this quote is it's associated with a project. Now, from here, I can go into my line items, and again, I cover a lot of this in the other quoting video. Those line items, we also will call these the bill of materials. So these are the elements that make up that specific quote. Now, the key to our quote contacts concept is that I may want to send this same bill of materials or line items to different audiences, general contractor, distributor, etc., like I said earlier, but I may want to control what I do with those individual line items. So this introduces the screen that we call the quote contacts. And so what you can see here is this is a list of all of the quote contacts that I've associated with this particular quote. Now, at this moment, I can send all of these people this quote if I choose to without making any adjustments. I can simply click on who I want to send to. I can select send all, and all of those individuals will get this quote. Now, at that point, I also have the ability to make other changes to the quote, and I'll talk through some of that here. The first thing you'll notice is that I have these columns where I can identify the role that they're playing. So in this example, I may want to be able to distinguish between the distributor and the general contractor that I referred to earlier. I also want to control the stage that I'm in with that particular contact. So in this example, I might have updated the quote and I want to send it to these 2 guys up at the top. Well, then in that example, when I hit save or send, it will actually record that these guys have been sent the actual quote. So in this case, I'm managing not only the quote that I'm sending them, but I'm also managing what I send them and when, and more importantly, what template I'm using. So in this example, I've got my templates, and this is the template that controls the email that I send the quote in. So in this example, I'm going to send this quote in an email to Baker, Ramirez, and Lucas Davis. This right here controls what template it goes into the body of the email. Now I want you to catch that. Because what I'm doing here is I'm not writing an email to Baker and I'm not writing an email to Lucas. I'm basically saying I want Baker to get the proposal send email and I want Lucas to get the proposal send email. Now, that's the first thing I'm deciding on. The next thing is what proposal am I sending? And so in this example, we have our standard quote. So if I wanted to see the quote that I was sending them, I could simply click on the email button here, and then it would allow me to see a couple of different things. It would allow me to see the email. You'll see that here. Oh, excuse me, before you see that, you decide what fields you want to put on the quote. So in this particular case, I'm selecting the quantity, the product, the description, and the grand total. And then I'm going to select email preview. And then from this, I can see the email that I'm sending. So in this case, it just reminds me what that proposal send to email says. But then it also allows me to see the attachment. Now, my goal in showing you this is how you can view those details, but the point is all of this happens automatically when you do that from quote contacts. So in this example, it'll show me how the quote is configured. It'll show me the line items and the quote and the product, quantities, etc. If I had any freight on the quote, etc. So it would show me all of that in one step. The point there being that it gives me the ability to see all of that from the screen. But again, the point is I may not always want to see that. So in this example, if I wanted to send this to everybody, I could go ahead and go do that. Okay, finally, after I hit send all, it shows me the date and time that I sent that email, and it shows me what I sent. So again, if I need to revise this quote or edit it in any way and I come back to change it, I can then go back and say, yeah, I need to resend that adjustment to everybody. Or I can say, you know what, the adjustment really just applies to Lucas at 3M as an example. Now, the point there is that it simplifies dramatically who you're sending quotes to and who you're sharing that information with. So rather than printing a PDF for Lucas and a PDF for Baker and a PDF for Elijah and a PDF for Benjamin, etc., and then doing a separate email, it's a couple of clicks and a couple of buttons, and your 5, 10, 15, 3, whatever number of contacts have been updated with the proper quote. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me. I know your time is very limited. I've included 2 possible next steps in the video description. These include a link to our pricing video where we share the pricing for Salesforce construction, and I've also included a link to our guided free trial. The guided free trial will allow you to start using Salesforce construction immediately in your business while providing a step-by-step learning path. The guided free trial also introduces what we call the guaranteed quick start, which is several pre-scheduled calls with our team to help make any light configuration changes like pick lists or reports, and also help you migrate any data that you want in your free trial. If you're not ready for those 2 choices, please spend some time here on our YouTube channel learning more about the specific problems we've solved for Salesforce construction. Thank you again for some of your time, and we'll see you soon.